Let's get some price picks in today, guys. This was an absolute painful week. This was a slip I gave out in last night's video. Paul George went under. I'm sure a lot of people run that over. I took his under. We also went with Zubac on his over. I said the relationship between these guys, if Zubac goes over, Paul George is more likely to go under. That's exactly what happened tonight. And then the Wiggins and Brandon calls were right on too. So over 10.5 points for Wiggins. Brandon stayed under. He did get more points than I expected. He got 7. I expect like maybe 4 or 5. But he still stayed under that 8.5 points. Now Chet also went under. Giannis did end up playing. So that was an easy under on the under 8.5 rebounds. Now Jonas Valanciunas here. We needed half a point. He only played 19 minutes. He's basically getting 1 PRA per minute here. We needed just that half point, a rebound point or an assist, man. It would have been a beautiful 25x to end off the week, but we could not pull through. That's a brutal part of these 6-mans. You only get a 2x if you get 5 out of 6 correct, and that payout jumps drastically once you get those 6 for 6s. So when you're slowly playing these and getting 5 out of 6s, it does get a bit draining. I know it takes a lot of mental fortitude to go through these and kind of get these bad beats all the time. I even had one last night with Rudy Gobert in a different slip. He ended up getting 4 too many points, and it's just a lot of bad beats this week. Honestly, this was the worst week I've ever had on the Discord, and I'll show you guys completely transparent. Minus 38.4 units. After a week where we just went up 86.2 units, a lot of variability and variance in playing 6 flexes. Last week, there wasn't many bad beats, and we actually got lucky on one slip with that Marie Taco, where he ended up getting that in like the last few minutes, where he ended up getting a free throw in minutes that he probably shouldn't have been playing. So good things do happen, bad things do happen. In this week, nothing was going our way, as you see by this slip, and we had a lot more 5 out of 6s this week, probably 6, 7 of them. So no 25x this week, and when that happens, you end up going down 38.4 units. So right here in this chart is basically the cumulative profits that I've had since the beginning of the Discord. You could see we have these downturns from 360 plus units all the way down to 284. Now we're in another one. We're at a peak of 532 units of profit, and now we're sitting down at 483. But I always know that we bounce back because the strategy is kind of set in stone. I have proof of this working for the past 18 weeks. Yes, there's down weeks. You see, even week 15 and 16, we went down 2 weeks in a row, but then we bounced back and wipe out all those losses. We had a streak of 160 units here, even wiping out future losses. Like just this run here wipes out all of this that possibly went wrong. Anyways, week 19, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to wipe out all these losses from last week, but I know over time, maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, everything's going to replenish. And when I get back to this graph in 2-3 weeks, you're going to see I'm definitely going to be above that 483.65 unit mark. I'm sorry to everyone who joined this week and ended up getting the worst possible week literally ever. You could see all the weeks that were right here. I've never had a week this bad. My worst one was right here, 25.6 units. But I know we could bounce back. I even made an announcement in a Discord. These are all the streaks that I bounced back from. Minus 30.6 units, minus 25 units, minus 21 units, minus 24, minus 55 units was my worst streak of consecutive losses. And we still bounced back from that and had a positive month. Minus 42.4 units, minus 37.1. Right now we're on about a minus 39 unit downturn, yet we're still up over 480 units in 18 weeks that the Discord has started. A $5 unit would have netted you 2.4k profit. So I'm just telling you guys this because yes, losing happens. No one is winning every single day. I know a lot of people get baited by Twitter posts, Instagram posts of guaranteed locks. It's not a thing. This is a realistic look into profitable betting. There's going to be losing streaks. There's going to be winning streaks. But the winning streaks are much, much better than the losing streaks. So as always, that is my Monday recap. I'm always going to be recapping Discords on Mondays, whether it's green or red. And that is how it's always going to be moving forward. So get onto the board for the day. I already put in the first 2 picks here. We're going with 2 tennis plays. So this is Dimitrov on his under 21.5 total games. And then we got Vasek here on his under 23 total games. Now, why I take these guys is very simple. It's based on sportsbook odds, based on juice. If you go and check Dimitrov here, his line is set at 20.5. On Prizepicks, we're getting him at 21.5. If you guys know anything about tennis, there's a pretty big difference between one total game. And we can actually check on Pinnacle, who has kind of these alternative lines. At 20.5, he's actually juiced towards the over. So he's more likely to go over 20.5. But if we get that extra game, he's way more likely to go under 21.5 total games. And that's what we're getting him at here. So minus 132 on the under, plus 115 on the over. They're paying you more to take the over. You want to be on the under because it's more likely to happen. On Prizepicks, we're not getting that payout shift compared to if we were to play this on a sportsbook. On Vasek, similar concept here. We get him at 23 on the sportsbook. He is at 22.5, and we can even check on Pinnacle. They're going to have an alternative line for him at 23. You can see on this alternative line, there's a massive difference between 23 games and 22.5 games. We're getting an extra 15 points of juice, and this line is actually better than the other line I just went over. So this pick is better than Dimitrov. So I'm loving this under 23 total games. Plus, if this pushes, we revert down to a 5 flex and get still a 10x potential payout. Enough said about tennis. Let's get into the NBA. And this is a stack I absolutely love, always taking. We're going with Ayton on his over 19.5 points. The only thing is he hasn't been playing recently. We don't even know if he's going to play tonight. If I go and check the the expected lineups. You can see both Ayton and Simmons are game time decisions, and the worst part is that we have both these guys in our entries because I love to take Simmons on his over 4.5 assists when I'm grabbing Ayton on his over points. As I've been going over in the previous videos, centers obviously get way more assisted points than any other position, especially Ayton, people like Jared Allen, things like this that I've been taking in the recent videos. Zubac. If you go and check Ayton's points that are assisted, you can see 74% of his field goals made are assisted, and he's basically only scoring 2-pointers here. So about 75% of those 2-pointers are assisted, of course, from the guards. Now, if Ayton doesn't play, it's just going to be better for us because Simmons' line is probably going to get bumped up to 5, maybe even 5.5. Because he's going to get more usage, so it's only going to help us if either one of these guys doesn't play. And if Ayton doesn't play, and if Simmons doesn't play, Ayton's point prop is also going to get bumped probably to 20.5. So no matter what, taking the overs on these guys, even though they're both questionable, is still okay, because if one of them's out, it only helps us in terms of usage rates. So that's why we're going with both these guys on the over. And obviously it's Portland, so they are expected to be blown out here by the Rockets. Total is on the lower side, but honestly, I'm not too concerned with that. I still think this is a beautiful stack. It's one of my favorite ones in the NBA. So that's what we're going to go with. And then to end it off, we're going to the Boston Celtics. Now on this team, Porzingis hasn't played the last game, I don't believe. Also, Jaylen Brown has not played the last game. And Derek White is a game time decision. For now, it looks like Brown and Porzingis are going to be playing tonight. There's no news saying that they will not. If anything, Derek White is out. So what I'm going with here is I'm going with Derek White on the under 14.5 points. And I'm grabbing Jaylen Brown. I know a lot of people are going to be on Jaylen Brown. I saw him as a popular pick. I even saw his demon as a popular pick. We're grabbing on the over 22.5 points. Look at the popular. Everyone's on this demon. I'm going to go with the regular line because demons are an absolute scam. I have a whole video on that in the annotations. But Derek White on the under 14.5 points. Brown on the over 22.5. Why? Because if Derek White is out, it only helps Jaylen Brown's line. So I'm not too concerned with grabbing Brown on the over. The only thing is if Brown's out and Derek White's somehow in, I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, that makes our Derek White under points way worse. But what am I expecting is if Derek White is out, Jaylen Brown's going to get bumped to 23.5 most likely. And we capture value on that over points. If they're both playing, it's still okay because that's kind of the concept we're going with, similar to what we did in last night's video with Paul George and Zubac. If one guy is going under, it's more likely the other guy is going over. Basically, a lot of players on the same team are not just going to all go over their player props. That's why you can't just jam 5 overs on the points on players from the same team. So you're expecting Derek White to have a slower game and then Jaylen Brown to get the points. So that is the full slip for tonight. Let's try to get this 6 for 6.